Okay, let's do some scales. So I'm in the pink part of your book. You've already done these worksheets. You've done a lot of scales work. Now I'm going to put it all together and we're going to do spelling scales. So these first ones are set up to reinforce 1, 2, and 3 sharp, and then 1, 2, 3 flat scales, and how to shift them as well. So they're just like all the other quizzes, except now you have to notate the flats and sharps. And there's basically maybe 3 things you have to remember about this. You have to remember how to draw the sharps and flats, pound signs and little B's. You have to remember to put them just to the left of the note, and you have to remember to put them on the same line or space as the note. So let's go through a couple of these together, and then I'll leave you to do some more worksheets. And you'll see there's a lot of repetition on these first ones. They're there to solidify the basic scales, which hopefully you have done because you did the the flashcard ones, and most people seem to do pretty well on that. So G major is 1 sharp F sharp, and there's my F. And so you put the F sharp pound sign just to the left of it on the same line as that note. Let me show you some things that are wrong. That's wrong because it's above the note. That's wrong because although you'd say F sharp, we want to see the sharp before you play the note. And it gets confusing then. Is it for this note or for that note? So those are both common errors. Put the sharp sign just to the left of the note it affects. Put it on the same line or space as the note. Let's try again over here. So D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So D, E, F. We put the sharp right on the space as the F, right just before the note on the left-hand side. And here's my C. Same thing there. Again, not on top, not here, not some crazy place, right beside the note right there. Because we want to see that the note coming up is sharp, and then we want to play it. And we'll do A as well. So A has got 3 sharps: fried, F sharp; chicken, C sharp; is good, G sharp. And I did them out of order, and you can too, but eventually you've done this enough that you can just go through and say that one's sharp, and that one's sharp. Right there. Now there's lots more repetition here, and then there's 3 shifting ones, and I'm going to take you through a little bit of the shifting. So I want to do A flat major. So I make an A scale, and then I flat everything, and remember sharps and flats cancel. So A scales are the C sharp, the F sharp, and the G sharp. And then I flat everything. So I flat this note right there, A flat. I flat the B flat right there. If I put a flat here with the sharp, they cancel out, right? And then this here gets a flat, that gets a flat. These 2 notes, when I put flats on them, they cancel out the sharps. So they just go away. And it's really important to flat the top note if the beginning note is flat. Let me play it for you if it didn't have a flat there. You'd go A flat, B flat, C, D flat. So good so far. And then, oops. So even though it's the same note, this doesn't count as another specific different flat. Make sure you include it there or there. If you don't, in practical terms, when you write out your music, it's a big mistake. Okay, you don't have to go through that whole process. You can just remember that anything, for instance here, G flat major, that in the normal G scale was sharp will then be nothing. So I know that the G scale is 1 sharp F sharp right there. Then I'm going to flat everything, so I can do this all in one go. I'm going to flat everything, and I'm just going to remember to not flat the F, because it would have been F sharp, and then that would have canceled. So I just go flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. Everything's flat except for F, which is the way you learned it on your cards. There we go. And we're done. Okay. C major, nothing flat or sharp. C sharp major, everything sharp. C flat major. Okay. Practice this one. And then You're going to do the same thing for the first three flat scales. F major has one flat, B flat. So I put the flat just before on the same line that the B is on, right? B flat major has two flats, B flat and E flat. So I put the first one there, and since I've got a B flat down below, I have to remember to put a flat up above, and then an E flat right there as well, okay? E flat has three flats. That would be B flat and E flat and A flat. So I'm going to go E flat top and bottom, right? Or bottom and top. Got to do that. And there's my B flat. There's my A flat right there. And you can just do more repetitions of that. Now, just think about this. If I were going to do E major down here, I'd make the E flat scale, flat, 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 flat at the top. And then I would sharp everything. So everything that was flat gets nothing. And everything that's sharp, everything that doesn't have a flat gets sharped. So if I look here, that's flat, that's flat, that's flat, and that's flat. E flat top and bottom, A flat and B flat in the middle, which means when I make this, if I do it all in my head, I'm not going to sharp those, but I'll sharp the other notes. So cancel, sharp, sharp, cancel, cancel, sharp, sharp. Okay? So for this training assignment, you're going to do worksheet 1A, which is the sharp ones, and 1B, which is the flat ones. You are not going to take a picture of this one, but you are going to go onto a quiz and tell me if you've got this or not, because I'll put up a picture of this and you'll mark it, okay? And then you report back on how you did. By now, if you don't have these things coming quick, we've done so much work on these, then you haven't gone back and really focused on your flashcards on the ones you need to. And if you don't understand shifting, again, we've done a lot of work on this so that you have to go back and say, well, how do I do that and get that figured out, okay? So I will put up the answer key, you do these, you check them, and then you take a quiz. Don't upload a picture, but take a quiz, reporting and sort of analyzing how you did on 1A and 1B, okay? All right, we're gonna move on. And I want you to take a look at this one now. So I've gone past spelling scales with notation, and this is scales identification games. It's still in the pink packet. All right, so you have to think about this backwards. And this is just nerdy stuff. You can ignore that if you want. Read it if you want, though. It's kind of funny. This is, look, there's a bunch of notes played here. Like there's this D down here, and this A right there, and then this E right there, and then this note right there, the black key, and then this one, that one, and that one, and that one. And if you assemble them all together, it makes a scale. Now, I'm going to do one of these the long way, and then I'm going to do one of them the easy way, okay? Works like this. That's a D. This is the long way. That's an A. This is a B. Sorry, that's an E. E, B, C, G. And this could be an F sharp, because there's F sharp, or it could be a G flat. See how that works? How do we tell them apart? Well, this scale has one black key, either one sharp or one flat. And so I'm going to go back to what I remember about the first sharps and the first flats. The first sharp scale is G, and it's got one sharp, F sharp. That seems to match. The first flat scale is F, and it's got one flat, B flat. That does not match, right? G flat would not be the first flat we use. In fact, this is a G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then the G is a repeated note. So the answer to this is G major, okay? Now you can go through and name all these notes, or you can use what you know about scales from your flashcards. This has 1, 2, 3 black notes, right? 3 flats or 3 sharps. Which is it? Well, what are my first 3 flats? B flat, E flat, and A flat. And then, you know, the next one's D flat and stuff. What are my first 3 sharps? Fried chickens. Good. F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Let's check out which ones these are. This would be either an A sharp or a B flat. I already know that this is a flat scale because look, A sharp doesn't occur in the first three ones, but B flat does. And if I look here, this is going to be G sharp or A flat. Well, it could be there, but that doesn't explain A sharp. So that could be either one, G sharp, A flat. And then here, D sharp or E flat, and that doesn't fit here, but it fits here. This is my 3 flat scale, and if you've got these memorized, you know that that is E flat major. Okay? All right, again, you're going to do all of these. 11. Now, why are there 11 instead of 15? Because when you look at sharp scales and flat scales with extreme numbers of sharps and flats, they could be 2 different scales. For instance, if I had a scale that went C flat, right, and then D flat and E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat, and then C flat again at the top. Well, that could be a C flat major scale. In fact, that is a C flat major scale. However, this could also be B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and then B again, because C flat and B, C flat and B are the same note. Okay? So, certain scales, when we get to many sharps and flats, could be called more than one thing. C flat could be a B scale, so when you get to one that has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps or flats, right, and it matches there, don't forget to also call it C flat. C sharp major could also be D flat major. G flat major could also be F sharp major, and so on. So there's a few of these that will double up, but if you find them, even though there's only 11 examples, there are 15 scales that can be named. Again, like the other scales worksheet, I'm going to put this up as an answer key, and you're going to check your work, and you're going to report in a quiz how you did. If you have this memorized backwards so that when you see that this has got, 1 black key, 2 black keys, you're thinking, oh, this is B flat or it's D major, and then you can think about them backwards. So it's like the other side of flashcards. It's also making you revisit your keyboard so that you say, oh yeah, I'm familiar with these and what sharps and flats do to notes on the keyboard. All right? So, again, now you're going to do 1A, 1B, and you'll see an answer key and you'll mark it in reports. And you're going to do scale identification games where you look at the keys on a keyboard that have been marked and try and figure out what scale it is. Are you allowed to use your flashcards? Are you allowed to use references? Is this open book? Yes, fine, do so. But try and do as many as possible without using a reference, okay? Because what we really want you to do is get some practice and find out which ones you have troubles with so that you can practice those. When you have a hole in your bike tire, you fill it with a little bit of air and you put it in a bucket of water so that you can identify where the hole is and just patch that rather than patching the whole tire and guessing. Here, this is showing you where, if there are any, you're weak on major scales or thinking about the keyboard like this backwards so that you can practice just those. Okay?